Hello everybody, it's Anthony Taormina, editor-in-chief of GameRant.com. I'm here at Pokemon Worlds, the big be-all and end-all of Pokemon TCG Unite, Go, video game, tournament madness. This is essentially the World Series, the Super Bowl. This is where everyone comes to Anaheim and they try and vie for that world title. But I'm here to check out everything that's going on at the Anaheim Convention Center, including the tournaments, including the Pokemon Center. I'll have more for you on that. But the thing I'm here to talk to you about right now is Pokemon Legends ZA, which I got to play for just a short bit, but I want to give you my hands-on impressions, so let's get into it. So we were treated to two 10-minute chunks of Pokemon Legends ZA. The first chunk was structured around showing you how the combat works and a little bit of the setup. And then the second chunk, the second 10-minute chunk, was a Rogue Mega Evolution battle, which combines some of the combat that we had learned about in the first chunk and then allows us to kind of evolve our combat abilities, so to speak. So jumping into the first chunk, I think immediately the things that will strike people about Pokemon Legends ZA: looks sharper, runs sharper, loads faster, all running on Nintendo Switch 2 for this demo. So very impressed. This is what you would hope for from a Pokemon game running on the Switch 2. It doesn't feel as framey or choppy or anything like that. So I was very impressed by the presentation right off the bat, snappy to jump into menus. So what we were treated to is going into a little battle zone. So it seems like you go into these battle zones and there are different trainers to battle. And by doing so, you're earning points and then you're able to progress your kind of ranking in this tournament. We weren't able to see a ton of that. It was mostly focused on the combat, but there was some semblance of that. So hopefully the B-roll or the gameplay footage that you're seeing gives you a little bit better indication of that than what we saw. One of the cool things about the combat is, or the, battles, is that you can actually encounter them as you would in an RPG. So you can sneak up on the trainers and their Pokemon and actually get a sneak attack, and that'll give you an advantage in battle. You can just run up to them and then trigger a battle, or they can attack you first. But you can crouch and hide behind cover and send your Pokemon out and have them attack. Yes, you heard me right. So you're essentially running around the world and your Pokemon are on your side. You can recall them. You can send out different Pokemon. They're on your D-pad, so you can see your kind of stable of Pokemon and choose who you want to send out. We had a few different options available, like Chikorita, Caterpie. So you can pull them in, send them out, do what you want, and then with the left trigger, the ZL button, you can target the Pokemon that you want to attack and then trigger that sneak attack. But that is essentially the big kind of focus of the combat, is being able to use ZL and target a Pokemon, and then your trainer is moving around and then you're using the face buttons, your X, Y, B, A, to do the different moves that Pokemon can do, like Protect or Bullet Rush or things like that. You're doing Vine Whip, whatever you want to choose to do, and then you can recall that Pokemon by pressing down on the D-pad and then cycle between them with left and right, and then press up on the D-pad on the Pokemon you want and switch on the fly, I assume, throughout the game, but during this encounter, that's what you could do. So you're running around, you're moving your trainer around, and then you're having your Pokemon attack. So there's a lot more of like an active battle system going on, which is really interesting. It feels faster. It feels like there's more to do. I will say that, your trainer is mostly just running around. You could stand still and have the Pokemon do all the work, but that does change in the second chunk, but we'll get to that in a second. I think fans are going to be really happy with the way that they've set this up. It does give more of that sense of like your Pokemon are moving around the field. They're not just standing there fighting back and forth doing their moves. And so I think that's really interesting. And then being able to use the ZL targeting has a little bit more of an active approach to it. And I think that is going to make a lot of people happy. I had a great time doing it. It felt fresh enough for the Pokemon franchise that I think fans will be able to go to that and say, this feels like something new. This doesn't feel like old standard Pokemon. And I think that that is a nice shot in the arm for the game. And so the second chunk was taking on a rogue mega evolution of Absol, and you were using Lucario. So the way that this works is Absol is mega evolved, big giant Absol, and then you are running around as your trainer, and then you're using Lucario in that same combat system. The one difference is the rogue Pokemon actually do not care about you as a trainer. So whereas the other Pokemon are trained, they know not to attack humans, they attack other Pokemon. Absol doesn't care. So you are actually moving around the battlefield and trying to avoid Absol's attack as you would Lucario. So you're kind of pulling Lucario away from attacks. You're dodging. There's a dodge roll. There's a sprint. So there's like a big kind of wave AoE attack that spreads out from Absol. You'd have to run away. Absol will charge at you. You dive out of the way. It wasn't super challenging to do that, but it made you have to like actually be involved in the movement of your trainer. So I hope that that evolves, so to speak, as you progress through the game, and that maybe, you know, you'll be dodging attacks and getting timing based stuff, but it just allowed you to move around and have more to do than you would otherwise. The core mechanic though of a rogue mega evolution, or I assume a mega evolution fight, is that you are attacking this mega evolved Absol with Lucario, and you're pulling off this mega energy. As you're doing damage, this energy will pop off, and then your trainer will pick it up, and it fills a meter in the bottom right. When that meter is full, you can press down on the right stick, and that will trigger the mega evolution for your Pokemon, in this case Lucario. And then you can do a lot more damage than you would otherwise. You're still having to dodge the attacks. You're still having to choose which attacks you want to use and be mindful of that. And you can do everything you would in a normal Pokemon game. You can jump into your satchel, you can use potions on Lucario, you can buff and things like that. But that is kind of the loop. So you're attacking with basic Lucario or basic Pokemon in a different scenario, getting that mega evolution energy, mega evolving your Pokemon, and then doing stronger damage and trying to survive. And I think that put together made the fight really interesting. The music kicks in, it has this really like bass heavy, get hyped for the fight, get into it kind of vibe to it, and I think that sets the tone. And then when you're in the fight, it's really fun. And I think, like with the first chunk, it really is just, it feels fresh and new and fun. And I really enjoyed just this brief snippet of Pokemon Legends EA. I understand 20 minutes is not a lot, and those who are going to be attending Pokemon Worlds, who will be able to play, I assume, both of these demos. Maybe you'll have to choose. They're timed, so once 10 minutes is up, you're done. But you'll be able to see for yourself if you happen to be at Pokemon Worlds when you're watching this. It really has me hyped for the game. I was already very excited. I know Pokemon fans, they're always looking forward to a no Pokemon game, but I think what they're doing with the combat will actually bring in people who maybe find the RPG style of pick your attack, let the attack happen, and that tried and true Pokemon setup, switched out for something a little more active, but still has the spirit of the franchise as you know it. I think it's going to give you the best of both worlds, and I had a great time playing it. Can't wait to see what the other mega evolutions are. I can't wait to see how the combat evolves, what you'll need to do with a full, complement of Pokemon as far as mega evolving and stuff. And then there was hints of lore and things like that, but I don't want to get too deep into that because Nintendo, Game Freak, Pokemon Company are kind of wanting to keep those secrets for you. Maybe there'll be some reveals as part of Pokemon World, so stay tuned to Game Rant for that. But I came away happy with what I played, and I cannot wait to see more, and we won't have to wait too long. The game is out this October. So that's going to do it for my hands-on preview. Just a short little bit of Pokemon Legends ZA. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw and heard about the game. And stay tuned to Game Rant for more out of Pokemon Worlds and more about Pokemon Legends ZA. I've been Anthony Taormina. Have a great rest of your day.